November 15, 1959. Holcomb, Kansas. A town so small and quiet that strangers stand out for miles. In a farmhouse on the edge of town, 4 members of the Clutter family were bound, gagged, and murdered in their own home. No motive, no enemies. Almost no money taken. Just 4 shotgun blasts that shattered the illusion of safety in rural America. 6 years later, Truman Capote published a book that turned this senseless crime into a literary revolution. In Cold Blood, the first nonfiction novel, it sold millions, invented modern true crime, and nearly destroyed its author. Today, we're doing a full, in-depth breakdown. The victims, the killers, the book, the controversies, and why it still haunts us. Spoiler warning, I'll cover the entire story. The victims. The last day. Capote begins the book with the Clutter's final day. Ordinary, almost idyllic. Herbert Clutter, 48, was a self-made man. A prosperous wheat farmer, devout Methodist, county commissioner, and president of the Kansas Conference of Farm Organizations. He didn't drink, didn't smoke, and paid his employees fairly. His wife, Bonnie, had suffered from depression for years. She was fragile, often confined to her room, but on this day she felt well enough to attend a 4-H meeting with her daughter. Nancy, 16, was the town's golden girl, straight-A student, class president, accomplished pianist, champion baker, star of the school play. That Saturday, she taught a younger girl how to make a cherry pie, helped with chores, and set the table for Sunday dinner. Kenyon, 15, was quieter, tall, awkward, wore thick glasses. He loved tinkering in his basement workshop, building furniture, and was working on a hope chest for Nancy's future wedding. Capote writes, "The village of Holcomb stands on the high wheat plains of western Kansas, a lonesome area that other Kansans call out there." Until one morning in mid-November of 1959, few Americans, in fact few Kansans, had ever heard of Holcomb. That ordinary Saturday ended with the family going to bed early. Unaware, 2 strangers were already driving toward their house. The killers, who they were, Richard Eugene Hickock, Dick, was 28 from Kansas City. Good-looking, charming, a former athlete who'd gone wrong early. Car thefts, bad checks, marriages that failed. He had a permanent smirk, as one witness said, and an abnormal personality. Psychologists later called him a classic sociopath. In prison, he heard a cellmate, Floyd Wells, brag about once working for a rich farmer named Herbert Clutter, who kept a safe full of cash. Hickock fixated on the idea, a score that would set him up for life in Mexico. Perry Edward Smith, 31, was shorter, stockier, with dark hair and dreamy eyes. Half Cherokee, he grew up in poverty and abuse, alcoholic mother who choked on her own vomit, father who beat the children. All 4 Smith children scattered. 2 siblings died by suicide, 1 institutionalized. Perry had artistic talent. He drew, played guitar, read philosophy, but also explosive rage. He'd served time for burglary and escape. Capote describes him as a small man with an oversized head and stunted legs crushed in a motorcycle accident. Quote from the book, "I thought he was a very nice gentleman, soft-spoken. I thought so right up to the moment I cut his throat." Perry, recounting killing Herbert Clutter. The 2 met in Kansas State Penitentiary, bonded over shared fantasies of easy money, and were paroled within months of each other. Hickock convinced Perry the robbery would be clean, no witnesses. Capote spends nearly half the book on their lives and road trip, humanizing them in a way that made readers profoundly uncomfortable. Capote's journey. And AMP. Research. Truman Capote was already famous. Breakfast at Tiffany's had just come out, but he wanted to invent a new form. Journalism with the depth and artistry of a novel. He arrived in Holcomb weeks after the murders with Harper Lee. They stayed 6 years off and on, conducting over 100 interviews. Capote trained himself to remember conversations verbatim. He claimed 94% accuracy without notes. He won over suspicious locals with charm and vulnerability, admitting his own troubled childhood. Alvin Dewey, the lead KBI investigator, became a close friend and gave Capote access to everything. After Hickock and Smith were captured in Las Vegas 6 weeks later, Capote visited them on death row dozens of times. He brought Perry books, aspirin, even baby food when Perry's legs hurt. He later admitted, "It's as if Perry and I grew up in the same house, and one day he stood up and went out the back door, while I went out the front." The project consumed him. He needed the killers to hang to finish the book, yet he fought for appeals and was devastated when they were executed in 1965. The book's structure and amp style. The book is divided into 4 parts. 1. The last to see them alive, the Clutter's final day interwoven with the killer's approach. 2. Persons unknown, the investigation and community grief. 3. Answer, the killer's capture and confessions. 4. The corner, trial and execution. Capote uses novelistic techniques, omniscient narration, interior monologues, foreshadowing, vivid sensory detail. Famous opening. The village of Holcomb stands on the high wheat plains. He creates unbearable suspense by alternating perspectives, cutting between the peaceful Clutter home and the killers speeding closer. Critics praised the cinematic quality. Richard Brooks adapted it almost verbatim in 1967. Controversies and AMP. Legacy. Questions arose. Did Capote invent dialogue? Change timelines? Some locals said yes. Capote insisted only minor details were reconstructed. More troubling were the ethics. Exploiting real tragedy, growing too close to killers, delaying the book until executions provided a dramatic ending. Yet the legacy is undeniable. In Cold Blood birthed the true crime boom, from Helter Skelter to Making a Murderer, serial, and recaps. It forced readers to confront uncomfortable truths. Evil can be banal, killers can be complex, and safety is fragile. Outro. Cold Blood isn't just a crime story. It's a meditation on violence, empathy, and the American dream gone wrong. If you've read it, what moment stayed with you most? Perry's dream sequence? The community's fear? Drop it in the comments. If you haven't, pick it up. Just know it's heavy. Thanks for watching this deep dive. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more long-form book and true crime breakdowns. See you next time.